6 years ago, I went out and married my daughter-in-law to my son in California. And they had a child on Christmas Day of 2007 by the name of Calli. And we were absolutely ecstatic about that. I mean, if you think about the birth of Christ and, you know, here's your granddaughter born on the same day, it has a meaning to you. She was something else in terms of her attitudes and so forth. And her mother taught her both Chinese and American. So she spoke fluent Chinese for her age and fluent English. And it was funny because one of the stories that happened is she asked Ling when could she go to school? And Ling said, well, if you know your ABCs and you can count your numbers, then we can see about you going to school. And so she turned around and said her ABCs in English, her numbers in English, and turned around and did them in Chinese, both, and said to her mom, now can I go to school? So it was one of those things where she had a tremendous ability to understand, you know, the dynamics of family and relationships and Chinese and English, and it was able to deal with kids both ways because there were Chinese kids in the neighborhood as well as English kids, and so she got along well with everybody. On December 1st of 2010, Ling had taken Calli to Sunrise Park, which is where she always loved to go. It was about a block and a half from the house. And so they went to Sunrise Park and played, I guess, for about an hour, and then it was time to go home. So they left Sunrise Park, out of the park, onto the sidewalk, stopped at the curb because there was a gal that had pulled in the left-hand lane and stopped to let them cross. And they crossed into the bike lane, through the bike lane, and almost all the way into the middle of the traffic lane. And a 18-year-old college student was driving south on the roadway and hit Calli and killed her, and hit and critically injured our daughter-in-law. She had 2 broken legs, tendon damage, ligament damage, a split pelvis, and a compound fracture of her left arm. And they kept her in a coma for about 9 days so they could do numbers of surgery on her so that she wouldn't be fighting everything. The investigation by the district attorney's office and by the investigating group that they had do the independent investigation proved conclusively through forensic evidence, okay, that the driver was indeed texting for the period of time up until she actually hit our granddaughter and daughter-in-law, because the texting stopped with a partial text that she was going to be almost somewhere, and it was like almost there, I'm almost there. So obviously she did not have her eyes on the roadway, was not focused on what was ahead of her, and because of that, okay, we lost a granddaughter and have a severely injured daughter-in-law. The reason I want to make change is because I've been through such pain and suffering and watched my daughter-in-law suffer and my son suffer. I've suffered. I realize, though, that out of all this, that if the laws and people hear and understand what took place, that maybe they can say, gee, texting isn't right. I got to put the phone away. You know, I can't drive and text because the risk to others and to myself, basically, are just too much.